to address the out-of-school menace.
Declaring state of emergency gives him the opportunity, the ability to maximize use of available resources in education and break all barriers to education, ability to believe, like if there are any laws, any regulations that are obstacle, the emergency gives way, breaks those obstacles and allow him to cross over. It also affords him the opportunity to maximize collaboration, partnership with national, international organizations.
One of the measures the state put in place is that as soon as it agreed to sustain the program, it came up with a committee of multi-sectoral membership. That's line ministries and agencies. The agencies are mostly poverty reduction agencies that are involved. And the essence of doing that, they have activities of poverty reduction. Not necessarily financial support, but other incentives are provided, like the beneficiaries are given some skills and given the equipment to implement those skills they acquire.
Sule Adamu is one among many others that is back to school through the cash transfer policy.
1, 2, 3, 4, let's almost play. Didi, I'm always to sa, I'm my.
Even if in terms of quality it is still work in progress, it is generally believed that with the required political will in place, through appropriate budgetary allocations to the educational sector, the expected target will be realized in no distant future.
To school, quite evidently, I dare say, it's like the government alone can't do it, because it's quite obvious, you know, despite all of the efforts they're putting in, there's very little to show. Also, parents cannot do so much as well. So, how do we nip this menace in the bud? Let's start with you, Eunice.
What do you mean the government cannot do much and the parents cannot do much? Because it's actually the parents and the government that are primarily responsible.
Here we are.
Because there are no consequences. You need to apply consequences. If, for example, your child is out of school and is selling on the street or for whatever reason, and you are picked up and you are punished, either jailed or you have to do community service or whatever it is that the law is designed to do to you, you will be the first person to make sure your child goes to school. You would not dare give that child your wares to go and sell or your store to look after when the person should be in school. So it should be a crime for children in the primary and secondary school age to be at home for any reason.
It's a crime in Lagos State.
It is a crime.
I know about Lagos State.
They should apply it and they should enforce the law. And the government is definitely responsible for this because it is their primary duty to make sure that our future is secure. And one of the ways you secure the future is by educating the young ones today. So you can't afford to have the children out of school and then it's okay and then life goes on. That's so unacceptable for me, and I think it is primarily the parents and the government that should do stuff now to change this situation because it's getting worse. Okay, look at them, they are all hawking. They are, some of them may not even be hawking, but they are not in school anyway. No, it's unbearable, it's completely, and then you see that we budget so little annually for education in Nigeria. We need to not only increase the budget we allocate to education, we need to bring in the private sector as well. Create an enabling environment for people to be able to invest in education and make money out of it, because education is actually a very lucrative venture. But then we do it in such a way that we block the road for the average person to invest in education. A lot has to be done from the government side, primarily, and then of course from the parents. Parents whose children are not in school, no matter what region they are from, they should be behind bars or doing some real hard labor so that they will understand that it's their responsibility.
Yeah, from my point of view, I think there are too many sides to it. The government side, the parent side, and then of course the crisis, the insecurity side of life, because to contribute to the numbers that we have as on the record is 10.2. As at today, according to the report, is 13.2. And even the federal government, the Minister of Education, Adamu, said about 2 months ago, about in May, that it's gone down to 8.6. So it means that the government of the day is postulating a figure. The international community has their own survey and their own figures. It means that it shows the depth and the gap in the educational system that we have. And then the government of the day, because everything is intertwined. Security leads to IDP. IDP leads to children out of school. That's from the northeast. Okay. Then down the south, the challenge is the parents, because there's school opportunity for them, but the level of poverty has pushed a lot of people out there to make these children elsewhere and everything. But what I know for sure is that it's a collective responsibility. The government is at the forefront. The school is, right next to it, and even the family members, because then the orientation of the people, our people need to be orientated, because majority of these parents, we think they are literate or educated. They are not, because the value of education is what they should preach. Because, and for real, one thing that is certain is a learning economy, a learning community is going to be a prosperous community. And that's what we're preaching in the Liberation Movement. Get everybody to school, get the basics, and the society, the economy, the life of the people will be better off for it.
Okay, I like what you said, but don't the government of the day know all this? Don't they know the value of education anyways?
I guess they do. So I think that so it doesn't appear as if we're painting doom and gloom all the time. I think the government has made efforts in the right direction as far as this issue is concerned with the school feeding program. Because if you've interacted with schools the way I have, so I'm on the board of the foundation called Sekama Child Educare Foundation, that whose primary mandate is to provide education to the indigents, people who can't afford it. And you find that even in the Southwest, where for most of the states education is free, people still don't send their kids to school. Sure. Because one, they need the labor, they need the hand to go to farm or to hawk their wares or whatever. Two, they can't afford the basics, they can't afford books, they can't afford the food that they need to give those kids if those kids are not engaged economically. So the school feeding program of the government, which supposedly is feeding about 8 million children right now, nationally across 24 states, is a good initiative. We need to see more things like that. You need to go out to schools, even in this Lagos, to know the enormity of this problem. Some of those schools, even an illiterate parent will not send his child there because, there are no classrooms, there are no toilets, no chairs, no nothing. So government has done some things, but unfortunately, like I always say, it's a mere token. They need to do a whole lot more. So like Eunice had said earlier, the education budget cannot be 4%. I mean, come on, are we kidding? So on that budget issue, what needs to happen is, first of all, the budget of 9.1 trillion is child's play. We're not serious as a country,
Well, how come year after year we allocate so little to education, knowing the import of it?
No, the answer is simple.
Knowing the import, and then when we go to the elections, so much money flies.
76%, between 70 to 80% of your budget over the last 15 years has been on recurrent expenditure, which is primarily salaries, overheads. Now, locked up in all of that is money that people are stealing.
Yes.
So we need to get real, and that's why we're saying this society is broken. We need a fix. So what you're seeing with the school children is a symptom of a far deeper problem. Yeah. The Nigerian society is broken and needs to be fixed. Once that is done, so you can easily push our budget to 15 trillion naira easily if we can block the leakages and the stealing There's revenue that is completely unreported.
Right.
The last Minister of Finance actually said it
and
in
that's
public.
What cost her a job.
Yes,
that's what cost her a job.
400,000 barrels
to go
of
because
oil.
she made it clear that Buhari, as the Minister of Petroleum and the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, was remitting way too less to the federal port than he should be. His ministry is stealing us dry. And the moment the woman said it, NYSC certificate became the reason she had to go. But we should not wash those things under the table. This woman made a point. We are remitting way too little from the NNPC, the Ministry of Petroleum, to the federal purse. Why is that so? She asked that question on live TV, and a week or two later, NYSC certificate, and before we knew it, she had to resign. Meanwhile, Buhari is telling us he's holding on to the Ministry of Petroleum in order to make sure that money is not stolen. We heard what Kachiku was saying last year. We saw how the Baru case went. All of them, hush, 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 were there. That's why I'm telling you this Ganduje world, forget it. He's getting away with it because it's the way we do things.
I'll come back to this issue of education. But then I think the recent recession with the current economic struggle we're in, has also added, to the number of children who are out. Have you gone to any of the schools recently? Have you, taken your child back to school?
I've related with the school. Let me paint a picture. How few, especially if your kids are in private schools,
to see how few children are left in school.
Yeah.
Like, it's a reality everybody's faced with right now. A lot of people have had to pull their kids out of school to the public schools that are not...
Or cheaper private ones.
Do you get like a lot is going on?
Some are actually schooling. A lot of my friends are homeschooling their kids now. Like, they can't afford the 7 million, 3 million to pay for school fees in the private schools. So they don't want the children to go to the public school where they learn nothing. So they are staying at home and they're learning at home.
There's more to the public school system in Nigeria. Wow. There's a lot of insecurity. There are no fence. The school is dilapidated, there are no chairs,
no
even the teachers.
Nothing.
And then I think we need to place this thing properly, because the issue of out of school has been with Nigeria for a long time. True. It's not just this regime alone, so we have to state it clearly. But what effort is this government putting in place? The only effort from my point of view they put in place is the school feeding program, which is basically around the north.
Can I interject?
But even at that,
can I interject on the school feeding program? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to knock what this administration is doing, but it is not an achievement.
It is not an achievement.
It's not one of the education. That's why they're looking at that like something they are doing.
Exactly.
But the funny thing is that they are not even really doing it.
They're not doing it.
It's not it. I have actually investigated. And there are not. I haven't even found one school yet that I just walked into and then asked questions and then there's school. I haven't found one, and I've done Abuja, I've done Enugu, I've done Lagos.
It is not pan-Nigeria, it's selected places.
Okay, if you say selected places, then it is also not working, because it's supposed to be an idea.
That's why I say it's
nationwide.
tokenistic. That's why I say all of these things, they're doing it. It's out there. There's evidence that it's out there. There are people, there are contractors that I know that are providing food for some of those schools. Ekiti, I think they focus on the hinterland where poverty is more prevalent. So for you to see these things, you have to go to the poorest communities. Now, but the point is, it's not enough. So whether they're doing it or not is completely out of the point.
But the question on the table now is, what's the solution? The solution from our own point of view is that the government must take the bull by the horn. The government of the day. Because one of the first level to improve this is to increase the budget for education. Because if you budget so little for education, then you get a lot. Even out of school is one of the symptoms. There are a lot of other things that is down the line. Because the children who have been out of school when 10 years ago, they are the ones taking codeines on the streets of Nigeria now. They are the ones taking different things, because the education is meant to make you a better human being, better informed, better to protect yourself and to protect your community, and Nigeria will be better for it. That is number one. Number two is that the education, I don't know what this agency is doing, the NOA. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who they are orienting. Maybe they just get the budget and just pocket it. Because education is an intertwine. The structure is there, and that agency of government needs to function. to educate the populace, because the parent that has been out of school for a long time needs to be educated that, oh, you need to put your child in school, and these are the benefits, and these are the punishable offenses that you should be aware of. And this has to be pan-Nigeria, not just in the urban areas alone, because the rate of people out of school are not even more in the urban area than in the rural area, where government don't even have infrastructure to monitor all these people.
Let me add something to everything you've said, that they should add increased budget and, well, not this government, because this government is clearly only there to take away all those budgets you're telling them to increase. They will just increase it to increase their costs, not to increase it to do the work they're supposed to be doing. So what we need to do is stop advising government and move them out of government, and then bring people that can work for us.
That's why we're there. We have all the solutions on our hand. We're young. We're
all this advising them is getting us nowhere.
Because they are there today.
The advice is for the government, whoever is there, regardless. So government is a continuum. So if you become our president next year, this is my advice to you.
That is
right?
Yes,
Increase our budget from 4% to 26%. Now, I just did a quick calculation, and it's ridiculous. Do you know that our education budget is 4% of 9 trillion? I just ran the number. It comes to 450 million naira.
That's sad.
Now, I doubt, just rough off the top of my head. I don't have any statistics, so we have the 10.5 out of school, or 13.2, depending on who you are depending on. Add another 8 million, say, just as an example, that are in school. So you've got 20 million children that should be in school. That education budget comes to 22,000 naira per head per year.
That's
I mean, are we serious?
That's
let me even add to it. I think the government of the day is not being honest with us, because beyond the budget that they have support from foreign, because the bulk of the work people see that get done in educational system are inflows from foreign aids that come in, and because Nigerians are not asking the right question. Oh, budget is just one hand. How about the foreign aids? How are they dissipating all this money? Who are they giving the report to? Because the money is for the Nigerian children. And Nigerian children, we are responsible for the Nigerian children. They must be reporting that they must give. Because if the budget is X amount, what is the X amount for the foreign aid? Put together, what does it come to? Nobody is giving that report. Everybody is just looking and complaining. Enough of complaining. What we need to do now is take action.
Children's lives are wasting out there on the streets. I don't know where we missed it, but we need to really get back on track and get back there real fast. I'm sure we all at this table, we are all products of public school. I know about her.
I'm a product of public school. I'm a product of public school. There's nothing like private school. Until 1990, there was nothing like private schools there. There are very, very few private schools.
No, there were many private schools, but
there were few. Corona was a public, it was technically a public school. I went to Uni Primary School right beside Corona. My school was just as good.
In fact, I tell you, on my primary school, it doesn't matter, but we got educated.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's get back there. I mean, this everywhere you turn, you see children on the streets.
But we need to tell the Nigerian parent of today that the education of your child is in your hand. You need to take it seriously. Because what makes a community is, say, let's begin from the household. As a father, only bring to the world the children that you can take care of. And then the mother must be responsible. Everybody must not be junketing around looking for money. Poverty. And the future, your future, which is those children, need to be taken care of. Then the school, you must ensure that your child, because some people even pay for the child to go to school. They don't even care if the child gets to school or not. That is even another menace that is, fighting in the urban area, which the people, the government, the teachers, everybody, even the security agencies must be alive to all these responsibilities.
All right, let's read a couple messages and move on. Good afternoon to you all. I'm Abdullahi from Kaduna. My contribution is that we used to forget something. Nigeria isn't only for federal government. What are the local and state government doing in terms of out-of-school children?
Okay.
Question for us all. All right, well, all what you are saying depends on the government. If the government reduce fees, then for sure, children will go to school. I'm sure this is a parent, lamenting. Let's not even talk about what private schools are doing these days. I mean, they've taken advantage of
exorbitant rates.
They're having a ball.
Oh my God.
Okay,
some of the private schools, when you go there to make inquiries, like I wanted to relocate my children, and then by the time they finished giving me bills, acceptance fees, this, that, I said, what? But let them just stay where they're getting free education.
The interesting part of that message is that how about the other governments in Nigeria? We have the state government, we have the local government. In Nigeria, as of today, I don't know where the local government is working. The local government across the seven local government in Nigeria, I think if you 774, only maybe 4 or 5 of them are working. The money that goes to local government, I think, is just to pay salaries and pocket the rest. Because today, the role of the local government is actually to cater for the primary education of those children, and because they are immediate grassroots that touches the families where they can actually feel them, but they are not doing the work. Then we move on to the state. We're at the secondary school according to the structure that is on ground, because the state caters for secondary school and then the federal government caters for the university. But what is the state doing? Let me even postulate something to you. The level at which we are growing population-wise, the school that we have is not enough to cater for all these children that we're producing.
Okay. All right. Our time is fast moving. All right. One other message just arrived here. Says, good afternoon. I have a neighbor here. All his children are not going to school. That is a common sight these days.
Education needs to become free.
Free,
I think that's across up until secondary level, and we can afford it.
One of the factors in my party is that social responsibility. You know, because our party is stringed on the economic
trade-off. Can you stop promoting your party? This is not campaign time.
No, it's not campaign. But we're coming up with solutions.
Relax. We're coming up with solutions. Answer questions.
We're coming up with solutions. Look at that. Smart as a government. Then
Chris David, hold your boy.
What's your point?
All right, let's move on.
Thank you very much.
Red Cross raises alarm over abducted health workers. Right. The International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, is appealing to Nigeria's government, communities, and individuals to help secure the release of 2 abducted health workers as the deadline set by terrorist group Boko Haram to kill them draws near. I think today is actually the deadline. Anyways, the 2 health female workers were amongst the 3 others kidnapped in March in the remote town of Ran in Borno State, following an attack by Boko Haram faction of Islamic State West African province, ISWAP. The workers' names are Awad Mohammed and Alice Loksha. I mean, this is a very sad situation. One of them has already been killed. And if by today, the end of today, something is not done by our government, the other one will also, it's a very sad story. In 20 seconds, Eunice, your reaction.
I am not one of those that believe in negotiating with terrorists at all. I do not subscribe to any form of negotiations with terrorists, but I do believe that our government has failed all of us, and quite deliberately, because they could have done much more serious intelligence, gathered enough intelligence to actually go in there and strike and get these guys. But I think they are paying lip service way too much to these Boko Haram abduction. And I mean, look at the way they took away the Dapchi girls in broad daylight with airplanes, escorting them, taking the girls away, bringing back some, keeping their sharibo and all that. It's too expertly orchestrated. I do not believe that there's serious efforts by our government to do what they should do to get our girls back. And it's sad because these are innocent lives they are playing with. Red Cross, everybody is helping, trying to make sure that the impact of this insurgency is reduced. And we are there playing games with their lives. It's really sad.
Okay. All right, comrade, 20 seconds.
It's pathetic, it's bad. It's, I feel very bad when I saw the social media this morning. I think one of them has been killed.
Yeah, Hawa.
It's something that the government of the day need to help. Yes, terrorists. The school of thought says don't include in terrorists. But the truth of life is that the life of these young Nigerians are at stake. So I think government should do what it takes to bring them back. And then before the day draw end today, which is the deadline for this, I think government of the day need to engage these people, because when you engage them, then you are sure that yes, you're on the path to liberation for these children. So that's my opinion on that.
All right, Mr. Shaggy.
So it's a continuum, and unfortunately, it's a clear sign again of the incompetence of our government. Contrary to what some might think, Eunice was saying it's orchestrated. The truth of the matter is that Boko Haram is an internationally backed terrorist group. Yeah. They have funding from supposedly and allegedly ISIS and all of that. So we're dealing with a serious monster here, and I think that what has happened is just the typical failure of governance, the inefficiency and the rot in our systems. Because, like she said, what happened to the intelligence community? How come the International Red Cross threw out a warning yesterday, and Hawa was killed yesterday? How come? They heard something. So how come the government didn't hear that same thing? And probably, even if you are not negotiating, like she said, take some sort of action to forestall what's going to happen.
At this point, whether or not to negotiate shouldn't even come into the because we have lost that hold for us to say we won't negotiate. We let that go long term. That's my opinion. So negotiation should be ongoing constantly. As long as lives are involved, let's get people out alive.
I think the story is bigger than that, really.
Let me tell you what mistake you guys are making. You think that these people care. They don't.
No, obviously.
All they're trying to do is get your money, get whatever they want from you, and still kill those people.
Yes, of course. And to continue to fund their organization.
Our effort should be to bring them down, get those kids out no matter
what.
No matter what.
I agree with you.
If you have to go in there with 50 billion
I mean, we